What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Taylor Cut Tutorials. In today's episode, we're going to get into a bunch of different ways of how you can get creative with your edit. First thing you're going to want to do is be creative in the style that you're shooting. Whenever I'm in a location or I'm shooting something specific, I always mix up my camera angles. This may seem like a no-brainer thing to do, but when you're actually out in the field and you're trying to juggle a bunch of different things, sometimes you lose track of what angles you're getting. For me, I try to stick to the rule of getting 3 different angles for every location I'm in. I'll always start with my 16 to 35 wide and get establishing shots of where I am. Another way of getting a great wide angle is using a drone. Once you have an establishing shot of where you are, it's easier then to piece everything else together. Next, I'll try using my 35mm or 50mm to get nice medium shots. If you don't know what a medium shot is, if you're filming a subject, that's usually from the waist up. You get different people interacting, facial expressions. This helps really piece the story together. Finally, I'll do extreme close-ups. My favorite lens to use for that is my 100mm macro. I'll get close-ups of people's eyes, close-ups of branches, and once you get these tiny little details between that and the 2 other shots, you have a fuller story. Once you accumulated all of your footage, now it's about piecing it together and making it the most interesting version possible. If within the edit you realize you don't have as much footage as you initially anticipated, get creative and pull from other sources in order to tell a really unique story. Sometimes what I love to do is go within After Effects and create different worlds, like space, planets, or clouds. If that's something you're not familiar with doing, there are a bunch of different resources on the internet in order to spice up your edit. A video source I love using and the sponsor for this video is actually videoblocks.com. Videoblocks is one of the largest growing stock libraries on the internet. It has over 3 million stock videos including After Effects and motion graphics. There's a lot of different ways you can play with this footage. You don't just have to use it outright in your edit. What I like to do is take a specific shot, for example a shot of outer space, and I would then layer it on top of another shot and make it an overlay in order to give it this really cool, unique look. Incorporating other footage and motion graphics is a very cool way how to make your story unique. This month, Videoblocks is actually launching a brand new collection of Unreal video clips. It's going to include space, virtual reality, deep water, fantasy, and sci-fi footage. In the description, I'm going to include a link to a free 7-day trial of Videoblocks. Included in the subscription for a limited time, you also get free 4K clips as well. After you're done watching this video, I suggest you go and click on it and check out some of the awesome stock footage they have available. Another super amazing and probably the most important way of spicing up your edit is audio. For me personally, I choose my song and make my audio bed before I even start cutting the visuals. I'll make a 1-minute edit of the song or make a specific audio template before I even start going through the footage. Structurally, this helps me with piecing together the video. Now I know the exact time frame in which I want to edit to, and now I also know the key moments of where I want to put specific video clips. If I know that the song is crescendoing at 35 seconds, I'm going to do a nice build and save some of the best, most exciting footage for that moment. A lot of you have been asking where I get my audio effects. There's a bunch of different ways to create your sound library. I actually own a digital audio recorder and the model is the Zoom H4n. This I bring with me on most trips and actually just take live audio of my surroundings. For example, if I'm in Cuba, I'll just run audio for 30 seconds of cars honking, people chattering, and this I can piece into the edit and make the audience feel like they're really there. If you don't own a digital recorder or don't have time to take recordings while you're filming, you can pull sound effects off of the internet. A simple place to get high quality audio is iTunes. Rather than searching for a song, all you gotta do is type in the thing you're looking for and then sound effect after. For example, if you're getting footage of you walking through the woods, maybe search on iTunes forest sound effect. Layer that under your music and all of a sudden you're transported into this world. I can't stress enough how important audio mixing actually is. I for sure spend more time audio mixing than I do actually cutting together my visuals. Okay, let's hop on over into the computer now. I'll open up Adobe Premiere and show you how I actually layer and edit all my audio effects. So first thing we're going to want to do is open up Adobe Premiere. And for this tutorial, let me show you my most recent edit from my trip to Miami Beach. Alright, so this is the project file. As you can see, this is the video layer here, and underneath are all the audio layers. So I have about 15 layers of audio. So first thing I did for this specific cut was I took the song and made it exactly the length that I wanted it to be. As you can see, this is the song here. So this track here is an instrumental of a remix that my good friend Joe Mason made. So what I went ahead and did was, this is the first drop right here. So in order to shorten the song, I blended the first drop with the last hook. So this way I can keep the edit to about a minute for Instagram. Before I get into what these audio layers are and where I got them from and why I decided to place them where I did, let me play you the edit without any music so you can listen to just the sound effects. Alright, there you go. As you can see, even without any music, it still feels pretty full. It's actually a pretty interesting way to watch an edit. So let's start from the beginning. This first shot is of a message in a bottle on the beach. So first thing we want to do is try to find a beach sound effect. Like I mentioned in the intro of this video, I get a lot of my high-res sound effects from iTunes. We're going to go ahead and open iTunes, go to search, and literally just type in beach sound effect. As you can see, it comes up with a bunch of different beach sound effects. All you gotta do now is listen to them one by one and figure out which sound effect you think matches your scene the best. You can go ahead and buy it. Yes, it costs money, but it's worth it in the end because these are high-res sound effects. And once you're done purchasing it, you can go back into Adobe Premiere, import it into your project, and then go ahead and add it into your edit. So for this first shot, look at all of the sound effects going on here. First here, we have a sound effect that I got from iTunes called Afternoon at the Beach. This is what it sounds like. Next, underneath that, we have a sound effect called Relaxing Ocean Sounds with Seagulls. The reason why I added this on top of the other beach sound is because the seagulls really help add to the scene. Take a listen. And underneath that, we have another sound effect which is starting to become one of my signature sounds, which is a bell clock tower. I love adding the sound effect during my intro slate because it helps paint a picture before anything even happens. It also helps give a starting point for your text so that way it doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. To me, that bell just gives it a sense of urgency and also a sense of magic. Now you could just throw one sound effect underneath and listen to it, and if you think it sounds right, you don't have to add any more. The reason why I decided to layer a bunch of different sound effects is because I felt like it gave it a more whole, complete sound. Another thing I like doing to the sound effect is adding surround reverb. The reason I do this is because if it's too present in your ear, you can tell that it's artificial. So what I like to do is go into Effects, go down to Surround Reverb, which is automatically installed in your version of Adobe Premiere, drag it on the sound. Then what I like to do is go to Edit, and a preset I really enjoy is Somewhere Not Here. What this does is add some reverb and just pushes the sound effect back in your audio mixing. I like using specific sound effects as transition points. For example, between these two shots, I used a revving sound of a Lamborghini in order to really make it feel like you're pushing and starting into the next shot. For this shot here, the propellers are moving slow at first and then it speeds up into fast. So I had to make the sound match that. What I did in order to achieve that is this first shot, if you take a look here, it has the surround reverb, and then I fade it into a version that doesn't have the surround reverb. So it feels like the sound is becoming more present and speeding up in your ears. So all of this is the same helicopter noise, but once you start playing with reverb, it makes it feel like you're in different scenarios. This here has the Somewhere Not Here reverb on it. This one here has no surround reverb at all, so it feels like the propellers are speeding up. Then here, I apply the surround reverb again, but this time, when you go to audio levels, I added a -7 to it so it feels like it's really faint in the background. All of that makes it feel like it's 3 different scenes. Finally, an effect I love adding in order to transition from one part of the song to the next is called a riser. I put this between a lot of transitional points in the song and it adds a building effect. So as we're nearing the end of the edit, this is what it sounds like. And then this sound effect here is simply a boom sound effect. All of these noises combined really help shape the full story and make you feel like you're there in the world that you're creating. Alright, there you go. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. I'm going to continue to post videos every single Sunday, so if you aren't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you did find this tutorial helpful, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up. If there are any other questions or topics you want me to cover, just leave a comment below and I'll read through them. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys next Taylor Cut Sunday. And yes.